I don't think this was any surprise to most people. I actually had the opportunity when I was covering the Bolger case to speak with the U.S. Attorney in Boston, Carmen Ortiz, and I asked her this question: has the decision been made? Of course, she couldn't make any comment at that time, but she indicated that it was in the hands of the Justice Department along with the office's recommendation. So we now know, or at least we can glean from this decision, that the office did recommend the death penalty. And I will tell you this, Brooke, it is not an easy process in terms of the Justice Department's decision to go forward on a death penalty recommendation, because
how does one arrive at this decision?
Well, there's an office at the Department of Justice that handles these recommendations, and it is reviewed by many, many attorneys. The decision tends to be case specific, and so this is a process that has many, many, many layers, and the Attorney General generally accepts the recommendation of that core group of people that review these cases. And so it's not a decision that is made lightly, but there is a process in place. And so now we know that process took place, and the Attorney General the Justice Department is seeking the death penalty. And I think a lot of people don't realize that there is a federal death penalty, and certainly there is.
How then, looking ahead to if and when this trial takes place, how will this affect perhaps a jury's decision?
Yeah, I mean, it becomes a very different type of case. And we've seen that when there is a death penalty case, not just a federal death penalty case in the federal courts, but also, of course, state by state.
And I want to bring in Nick Payton-Walsh. Nick, I'm not quite sure if you are still in Dagestan, but that is where the Tsarnaevs hailed from. I remember a year when the Boston bombings happened, you talked to the mother at the time. You have spoken with the mother since we knew this decision would be made. What has she shared with you?
I should point out, Brooke, I did speak to the mother in minutes before this decision was in fact announced. And she said to me there's one thing she wanted the whole world to hear, and I quote to hear, that I love my son, my precious Johar. That's it. Please leave me alone. I have nothing more to say. I want to say a million times, I love my son, I love my Allah, I think it was the Prophet Muhammad, she said, and I love my Johar. She's clearly distressed deeply. I think it was no secret in the minds of many people observing this case that the Attorney General's decision was likely to be that he was going to seek death penalty, despite the controversy that causes in the United States. It's often that the toughest decision is sought by prosecutors in cases like this. And I think really what I got from speaking to her was a sense of the intense distress she's been under as a mother and the scrutiny she's been under in the past months. And I also spoke to the father, in fact, a few days earlier. He had little to say. I did ask if he wanted to make any kind of statement, and he just wanted to be left alone as well. So